talks about the 4 systems we're going to talk about today. So Dreamweaver, Wordpress, that a few people have mentioned already, Elastic, and Facebook. Now the reason I've chosen these 4 things is partly for background information, but also because they're 4 really great ways of setting up a website, and you'll be able to choose which path you want to follow. They've all got pros and cons, and they've all got costs and benefits, and all the other things that go with it. So I'll talk about Dreamweaver first of all. Has anyone heard of Dreamweaver before? You might have heard of it. Dreamweaver the reason I wanted to talk about it is if you go to a graphic designer and get your website designed by a graphic designer, most of the time it's going to be Dreamweaver that they're using. Dreamweaver's made by what company? Not Google, no? Adobe, yeah. Adobe, the same people make Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign and a range of other things. So when we're talking about Dreamweaver and all of the others, we need to consider all the things we've been talking about. So domain, hosting, software, design, and content. Dreamweaver is software. And it's software that allows graphic designers to create web pages and do web design and do this particular function here. But it doesn't do any design in itself. It's a bit like saying, I've got Microsoft Word, it allows me to type a letter, but when you open it, it's just a blank screen, there's no letter there. And that's why graphic designers like Dreamweaver, because it is a blank canvas. They can start from scratch, they can build a website that's any shape, any size, any way that they particularly want. I'll just demonstrate quickly on here. We've got it here. Maybe there we go. Bring it up. Just loading up there. So if you want a blank canvas, you want to be able to create a totally unique design that's exactly how you want it in any place and have things in any part of the page, then Dreamweaver is great. Certainly if you go to a graphic designer, and graphic designers are brilliant, the skills that they have is that they have the eye for colours, the eye for layout, the eye for design, and they will use Dreamweaver. So you'll explain to your graphic designer what your goals are, what you want to achieve, what you're trying to do, and then they'll make it happen using Dreamweaver. Okay. So essentially, just like Microsoft Word, this is where you start, a blank sheet. And then you have a range of combinations. So you can type some words. Okay. You can type some words, you can change the colours, you can put pictures here, you can do layouts, and you can add all of those things. A bit like Word in a lot of ways. What Dreamweaver then does is it outputs web pages, and they're what we call static web pages. Static means that they're not connected to a database in any way. You create a page. So if you've got a website, you might have your home page probably be called index.html. Then you might have another page called contact us.html. And another page called, let's say, about us.html. And that's what Dreamweaver does. It produces all of these separate pages. The advantage of a static website, so that word's static, is that each one of these pages is like a separate file. It's like having 3 Word documents that show up your various pages. What's good about that is the pages tend to be quite small in size, they load very quickly, and there's no relationship between this page and this page. So you can have, say, 3 columns on this page for your home page, you can have 1 big column like that on this page, and you can have 2 columns on that page. You can put a big picture here, a little picture down there. You can have any combination that you want on all of your different pages. So they're the benefits. It's great, it's creative, it's open, you can do whatever you like. The downside of Dreamweaver, because it creates static website is to change it on the local computer. So this computer here, it's got Dreamweaver stored on it. Your graphic designer creates all the pages and all of the information. They upload it onto your server, and then the website is visible and available for people. If you want a change made, you generally contact your graphic designer, or if you've got Dreamweaver and you're doing it yourself, you make the changes on your local computer, and then you upload them again onto your server. And you go through that process until you end up with the results that you want with that, with your particular website. The learning curve with Dreamweaver is very steep. It does take a lot of learning to get good at using it. The other issue that you have with it is that if you don't have an eye for design, you probably won't produce particularly nice web pages. That's why a graphic designer is great, because they do have the eye for design. They studied it, they know colours, they know layouts, they know all of those sorts of things. So in terms of creativity, it's a brilliant tool. In terms of flexibility, probably not the best tool. If you wanted to buy it yourself and learn how to use it, so using YouTube and Google and reading the instructions that come with it and teaching yourself Dreamweaver, you can buy the software that you install on your computer. It's probably around the $250 mark, but then you own it and it's your software and you can build however many websites using Dreamweaver that you want to do. If you want to do advanced things like have forms that can email and whatever, Dreamweaver can do that, but you need to know how to do that. So you'll need to know how code works. You'll need to learn code like PHP and other things where you can write instructions on how to do that. So what you're realising is the reason graphic designers use it is generally because they have the knowledge to use it. The learning curve makes it not viable for most people unless you're going to do a lot of projects. If you're going to be building websites for people, it's definitely worth learning how to use Dreamweaver and how to manipulate it. Now, Dreamweaver's software, it's got nothing to do with hosting or domain or any of those other things. So, you'll need to register your own domain to be able to have a website. You'll need to register hosting. Okay. So now you've got an address, you've got a space on a computer out in cyberspace, ready for your website. You buy Dreamweaver, you've got the software, you can start building your web pages, you can do your design, add your content, so the words and the pictures and the things that you want your readers and viewers to look at, and then you can start uploading pages and adding that to your website. And you're off and running at that point. Someone mentioned last week, someone had a website designed by a graphic designer last week. Yeah, and how much did that cost you?
It's about $2,000.
Yeah. So if you're going to pay somebody, $2,000's about right. You'll probably be looking at around the $2,000 to $5,000 mark. Okay? But for that money, you're going to get a very nice looking website. It's going to be visually appealing. You're going to get the benefit of that person's experience. You won't have to do anything yourself. They're going to do it all for you. So you're going to give them a brief. They're going to create it, change it as you want, hand you over a finished product. You pay your money, and the job's done. So it's quick and easy and effective. You'll probably find in terms of content, you'll still need to provide your own content. The graphic designer can help with writing the content on your pages, but they're not an expert in your particular area. You're the expert. So they'll generally ask you, do you have brochures, do you have information that you can provide us that we can then use for your content? But in this sort of price range, they'll normally cover, say, maybe about 6 to 8 pages. People often think about websites in terms of the number of pages, and that's because of Dreamweaver. You can see how everything's created as a page. Every extra page you add is more work for the graphic designer, and that's why they put a limit on it. That's why they say you can have 8 pages. If you want 9 pages, I've got to charge you a bit more, because it's more time for them, it's more effort, it's more writing, it's more this, it's more that. So they tend to put a bit of a limit on it. For most people, coming up with 8 pages is important. You can't do it. It's too much. So you're well and truly covered with that. By the time you have a contact page, a home page, maybe a photo gallery, a bit of information about your service, and then some of your products on there, that's it for most people. Some websites are different, and some needs are different. So
a page is a set length. Okay, so it's just
like a Word document can go as many pages as you want. A web got a set width, but it can go down as far as you like. Yeah. Now, obviously, if you say to your graphic designer, I want you to write a web page that's 40,000 words long, they're going to charge you for that.
I was thinking about when you said about photographs, you know, like if you want photographs and stuff. If you wanted to update photo, like say for example I sold something and it wasn't available anymore and I needed to replace that photo, I have to go through the graphic designer.
It depends.
If I had bought it myself.
Yeah, that's right. If you pay the graphic designer, different ones do different things. Some graphic designers say to you, all updates have to go through me, and most people like that because they'd rather pay money and have someone else do it, and that's good. They're happy with that. Some graphic designers allow updates for a certain period of time before they start charging for that. But other graphic designers hand you the logins and all the details, so you can, if you want to make your own changes, what you do is download these pages off your server onto your computer, make the changes, and then upload them back onto onto there. And you can do that yourself, but each graphic designer is different how they want to tackle it.
Excuse me, if you buy that software, does that give you like more than 8 pages basically?
Oh, you can create a million pages. Yeah, it's like I was saying, like with Word. If you write a letter and it goes a bit longer, you go to a new page. So, so you can have pages of any length. You can have any number of pages on your website if you do it yourself. So,
huge programs.
Yes,
It's really difficult to.
it's difficult. The basics are there. What I've found is when you're trying to use it, especially when you're new, design is not as easy as it sounds. It's actually quite challenging to lay things out in a way that you look at it and go, oh, I don't mind that. That looks okay. And that's the biggest challenge. Is not even the technical side of it. It's just knowing, should I put my picture here or those sorts of challenges. So, but it's good. It's flexible. It's creative. It's really good. So, bear all of that in mind and think about is either getting a graphic designer, paying the money and having them use Dreamweaver on my behalf, or buying Dreamweaver myself and doing it myself. Is that the path that I want to take? Any other questions on Dreamweaver before I move on? No? And of course, your graphic designer, they're going to use other tools like Illustrator, Photoshop, and the other things that go with that to make it work. But Dreamweaver is how you put it all together into a logical system or those. Okay. A few people mentioned, we're going to move on to the next one now, on to WordPress. Some people mentioned WordPress. There's 2 versions that you'll come across. WordPress.com and WordPress.org. Now, WordPress is a fantastic system. It's a really, really good system. And the best news about WordPress is that it's free. WordPress is this. For the most part, it's software. What makes something free?
What's this?
Would you?
Done by volunteers?
That's right, yeah. It's largely produced by a volunteer community. In fact, you don't even realise that a lot of the software that you use is produced by volunteers. It's people who do it in their own time. When the web was set up, one of the guiding principles is that the web should be free. Everything on it should be free. The people who originally set it, they didn't want commerce on there. They wanted everyone to just give everything away for free on the web. Of course, people have a profit motive, and so they've found ways to set up businesses and make the web make money. So some people make money, some people don't, and the choice is yours with how you So WordPress is free. The software is free. It doesn't cost anything. They have paid employees that do some of the work, but they also have a large volunteer community of programmers that are writing software. WordPress.com and WordPress.org. The difference is WordPress.com works on your computer, WordPress software goes on your server. So you put it onto your server, and then you are able, it runs your website and allows you to add pages and change things, and I'll show you that in a minute, add different things. The difference with WordPress.com versus WordPress.org is this gives you the software for you to use. This is a service a bit more like Facebook, where the software is already installed. They run the software themselves, so you don't have to install it or do any of that sort of stuff. And they provide the hosting. And when it comes to domain, you can add your own domain to it, or you can get something like carpet cleaning, carpet.wordpress.com. Okay. So when you first sign up, you'll get your own unique URL like this. It'll be something that your username .wordpress.com. You can pay a fee to WordPress to have your own domain. So if you register a domain, you can link it to that. So you can get rid of the WordPress.com part and just have your normal domain. That's an option that you've got there with.
How much is the fee, do you know?
Last time I looked, I can't remember, it was pretty small. It was like $19 a year or something like that.
22 something.
Was that 22 a year? Yeah. So WordPress does that largely. I can't believe they make any money out of that. I think they do that as part of their ethos of providing for a very, at least a cost recovery service to everyone. So that comes for free. You don't pay anything for this. You get to use WordPress. Now the pluses and minuses of that. The key minus is who owns that domain. Who do you reckon owns that domain there? They do. WordPress owns that domain. Now I don't think WordPress is going to go broke. In fact, I'm certain that they're not. They've been around for about 10 years so far. They're going to be around for a long time to come. But ultimately, they own that domain. What that means is if money's starting to get tight, and this does happen from time to time, they may say, well, you don't pay anything for this, so we're going to show ads on your website. And that can happen. It has happened in the past. It doesn't always happen. If you pay that small fee, then you definitely don't get any ads or anything like that. So it's good, but it's really free. This can be a great way if you've got a simple business, like you're a bricklayer, just for argument's sake, and all you want to do is show some photos to your clients. You can have one of those and say, can you go to bricklane.wordpress.com, here's my information for you to have a look at. There's no software to think about, nothing to install. It's a really simple system and really easy and effective to use. If you want to have a fun blog or a blog for your website, that can be really good. The real downside from a business point of view is when it comes to Google. Google will rank a WordPress website, okay? But when they look at this, their first reaction, and when I say they, it's a computerized thing, the first reaction is this is not a particularly serious website. This is a hobbyist. This is somebody providing information. It could be good information, but it's not necessarily good information. It's just in the mix. So if you had carpet.wordpress.com or carpet
setups.
That's it, I'm done from last week. Or carpet.com.au, Google's going to treat that one much more seriously than that one. Plus you own that one, it's yours, you control it. If you're set up in a particular way, say with WordPress.com or whatever, and you decide you don't like it anymore, you can move it somewhere else, and all the Google benefit follows that web address around. Because you don't own that one, it doesn't follow you. It's there and only there. So if you change your mind and you want to go from WordPress to something else, that doesn't follow you, this one does. So getting WordPress.com and adding your domain to it, that's an option that can work for some people. Or having your own domain and your own hosting and using WordPress is another option. So WordPress.com is this one. WordPress.org is where they give you the software. There's a lot of people using both. If you're serious about running your business, you'll go this option. You'll go the .org option. You'll get your own domain, your own hosting, and you'll install WordPress. You can do it manually. WordPress gives you the instructions of how to do that. Some hosts provide an easy click button where you can click a few buttons and add some things in, and then it'll upload WordPress for you. It all depends on the host that you go with for that one. So to use.org, sorry, I'll give you 1 second. You need to register a domain. You need to register hosting. Then you install WordPress, and then I'll talk about these other two in a second.
So yeah, my question was, so you have to have the domain and the hosting before you can use WordPress. Do it on your own computer at home and test it on your own computer at home.
No, what you could do is set your own one of these and play around with it
Use that for testing.
and get a feel for how it all works. I'm going to demonstrate it to you
Yeah.
now. The other difference between these two is this has a lot less features. This has got every feature that WordPress has available is on the software that you can download, but this is like a lighter version where it doesn't run as many buttons and as many features.
And just another question, I noticed when I did, and I only did a really brief research, did seem to be a lot of plugins for WordPress. How do you find out that how do you work out that you're getting a valid one and not somebody's virus or something?
It is hard, and that's what we're talking about with the third-party plugins before. I'll get to that. I'll talk about plugins in a second, and we'll talk about those issues. So let me just. All right. Let me demonstrate WordPress. So this is the WordPress.org version. Okay. This person has got, they've got server space, they've got a domain registered, so this is their domain, hensnightmurdermystery.com.au. They've got hosting organised, and WordPress has been installed on the computer. And this is how it looks. This is just one thing. Now, in terms of this next part here, design, whereas with Dreamweaver we saw that the graphic designer, so if you create your own design from scratch and you're designing your content all together on the page, WordPress actually separates these two. Design is created by what's called a theme, and your content is stored in a database. So this is not, WordPress is not a static website. When you see this information here, what you'll notice is you've got like a header there, you've got a menu bar here, you've got some links that you can click on, a search and a few other things. That page is actually constructed when you click on it for it to load up. So you don't see this happen, of course, but the server grabs all little bits together, puts it all together, and puts a page up here. This text here all gets stored in a database. So what that means is, so look at this word here, killer. If that comes from the database and you want to change it, and you change it in the database, every page you go to on this website, it'll automatically update. You won't even have to think about it again. You change it once and it flows through everywhere. And that's what's really good about dynamic websites. They allow you to make simple changes that go to your whole website. In Dreamweaver, if that's something that's on every page and you change it, you have to change it on every page. Okay? And that can be quite time consuming. And that can flow through to a whole range of different things. But with dynamic websites, a lot of that stuff is taken care of for you. You save it once in the database, and every time the website needs it, it just grabs it from that same part of the database, and so it's always updated. Now, in terms of the design, this header, the menu bar, the borders around here are what we call a theme. So the theme doesn't have any of these words in it. It's just the look and the layout and the feel of the...
Much visual stuff with it at all? Like much, many pictures or anything like
Yeah.
that? Is it just, okay.
Yeah, no, you can. I'll show you... let me just go to the... So this is the public. This is what the public will see. If I go back to... I'll go to themes here. And then that'll load up. And you can see there's a whole range of different themes there. WordPress has about 4,000 or 5,000 different themes available that are totally free. They've been created usually by people who've done it for free. And you can search WordPress to find a theme that you like. What's great about it is the themes are there. They're already built. You can click on them and to change themes. So let me change. This is the one they had before. Let's change to this one. So you click activate down the bottom there. And I'll do a few little things there. There we go. see how now it's this is the active theme. If we go back and have a look at the website, you can see now it's different. Okay, so if someone had looked at it 10 seconds ago and then looked at it again, it would have changed in front of their eyes because the theme is different. And then I can.
Is it limitless in terms of the layout and things or not?
No, that's the downside. The great upside is that the themes are generally free. You can go online and buy themes if they're not available on WordPress. You can pay people to customize the themes for you, but for the large part, they're set a certain way. Some of them let you change maybe the top picture. Some of them let you change what's in there, move a few things around, but essentially, if you want a different layout, you choose a different theme. And that can be a little bit frustrating, because sometimes you say, oh, I love this design, but I want that layout, and there's no way to get from one to the other. So that's a trade-off. Some graphic designers build WordPress themes, and you can pay them to build your WordPress theme, and that's a choice you can make. The good thing with WordPress in a way is themes, as WordPress improves, and it improves all the time, the themes can become out of date, and so things that did work before can stop working, and you either have to update your themes. There's usually an update button there somewhere. No, that one hasn't got an update. Some of them just stay updated, or sometimes after a long period of time you might have to get a new theme. Most of the time they update though, and they improve there. So again, it's free. The design doesn't cost you anything. In 10 seconds you can search. So let's install a new theme.
So Chris, why are you doing that? So perhaps the best way to muck around and try WordPress, because I didn't want to sort of go in and do anything particular, is to go into perhaps into .com and try one of their websites and just muck around with it. And then what happens? You just delete it, or it just stays there?
Yeah, just leave it there. You can shut it down, or you can just leave it there and it just sits there. And
it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
But it's a way of practicing with most of the features.
Yeah.
So it has all these themes the same as.
I don't know if it has all of them, but it has some of them. It'll have some of the same features. So you can see I've done a search for themes there. What's that one? That one's broken, I'm guessing. That one there, so we won't use that one. But that one looks nice. It's got a beach. Let's install that one. So when I click install, what it's doing is it's copying it from the WordPress website over onto my server and making it available.
Can you put your own photos in there?
Sometimes, yeah. What you can do, there you go, that should be activated. Let's have a look. See if that looks nice. Where did that go? Sometimes you've got to play around with things just to. Anyway. So yeah, you play around with them. We'll go back to the different things. The thing with WordPress, so the positives are there's lots of variety. There's lots of different themes out there. There's lots of different options out there. So that's what it would look like. So pick that one. Activate that one. Everything's pretty much free unless you go specifically looking for something or pay someone to do something specific for you. So it's very cheap to set up. You do need your hosting and you do need your domain. So, free, easy, flexibility, all of that stuff is there with WordPress. The downside that you have with WordPress is, like I said, you have some limitations. A thing I didn't, so you're asking about pictures as well. Often, say, this header, some themes let you change it, some themes don't. It's up to the theme. But in this database, you can put pictures in there that are stored in the database, so you can add any number of those that you want. You can have, in this content area here, you can put YouTube videos, words, photos, anything that you want to have in there. So yes, the downside is themes and things can become out of date. You have to update them on a regular basis. Anything like a theme that comes from outside has the potential to bring like malware or malicious software with it. It's unlikely, but it does happen and has happened from time to time. The biggest risk is not the stuff you get from WordPress, but it can come from WordPress, is if you go to a website and it says, we've got a great plugin for WordPress that does X, Y, Z, and you think, I want that, and you bring it across, some people do that to get malware onto your system. Lots of people do it because it's legitimate. Lots of people do it as a business. They charge you so many dollars to bring the software across. Now, what I was talking about there.
Is there any way, like when you look at websites on, say, if I googled this N-Smart Murder Mystery, and this site came up. Is there any way for me to tell that it was done by WordPress?
There's a couple of ways. One of the common ways is at the bottom of the site, like just down the footer, it'll often say powered by WordPress at the bottom. There's ways to remove that, but it'll often say that. So normally the way I know it is once you look at a few words, you see that there's a lot of consistency between them, and you get a bit of a vibe for, certain plugins are used in certain ways, and they look similar in some ways, so you get a bit of a vibe for it being
If you look
WordPress.
at the source code, it's very tough.
Yeah, you would. I'll just
The only reason I'm curious is my son's just had a website developed and it cost him quite a lot of money and he was very unhappy with it. And I'm looking at this and thinking, I wonder if they just used WordPress and...
It might have. A lot of graphic designers are using it because
Yeah.
they don't have to pay for it, they just customise it to their need. I'm sure it will say WordPress somewhere. So this is just so you know, this is what Dreamweaver creates, this code. This is how your website runs, it runs on code. This is not for us, of course, this is for your web browser. It reads this code and works out what to do with it and where to put things and what to do. WordPress, I'm sure, is mentioned in there, in the footer somewhere. Lots of code for a web page.
I thought I saw WordPress.
You probably did. It'll be in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, use Codex WordPress.
Yeah. So look, WordPress is great, and people should use WordPress if it's the right thing for them.
We set up like logins as well so that people could log in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use different. You can have different users, and yeah,
Yeah, so they can only access it.
people can add.
And they
Now,
can contribute to blogs and some can just read them.
Yeah.
Download special files.
Now,
Chris, sorry. I was reading somewhere, I don't know how current the information was. One of them, I think it's a .com, where if you make any money from the website, you have to share the profits. Is that
I don't think that'd be. I haven't kept up
the
with it
difference between that and the
recently.
blog? But yeah, it said something about you had to share some of your profits or something.
Okay. There can be some. I haven't seen that myself, but I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I know some of with those ads, they'll say if you put ads on there yourself, you have to share a
I think
percentage
you
of
do
the
with
ads.
the ads as well, yeah.
With WordPress. So I don't know if it's WordPress, but
I think
some
it's to
sites.
do with the ads and you share the profits.
Could be.
Somehow.
Yeah.
I think it was also to do with how much support you get. Like if you want to get some support through WordPress, then you pay a fee per month, and that then goes to support. They say support WordPress, like do that and support WordPress.
Oh yeah, that's support WordPress as opposed to get support. I think it doesn't give you a number you can call or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember there was something there that says do this and support WordPress or something. Yeah.
We'll talk about support in a second because that's important with WordPress. What I'm on here is what they call the plugins page. So if you want to be able to add your Twitter comment to your page or any number of things, there are thousands and thousands of plugins that people have built for WordPress. Some of the plugins are really, really good. Some of them are absolutely awful, but some of them are very good. So what you generally do is you think, okay, I've got a particular thing I want to do. Let's say what can I do? I want to, I'll put Twitter in. I want to do something with Twitter on my page. So I'm going to search for plugins and it's got something to do with Twitter. People have rated them, so you can see how good people think they are. This first one, it's only got 2 stars, so people probably don't like that. Well, there's only 3 ratings, so it's probably new. What's this one got here? 4.5 stars, so that one's probably alright. And what you do is you read the descriptions here. They often have links to their website where they give a bit more information about the plugin. You install it, you try it, and you see if it does what you want. If it does what you want, great, you leave it. If it doesn't do what you want, you just deactivate it and delete it off your system and get rid of it. The plugins are always free. Sometimes they ask for a donation to help them, cover their time for producing the plugin. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. It's all free. So the great thing with plugins is there's thousands of them. They can be very, very helpful. The downside is it's a little bit of trial and error. You have to just try and see if it does what you want. The plugins can, again, anything that's coming in from outside can introduce malware onto your system, unlikely, but it can happen. So that is just a small risk with that. The other thing with your plugins, and this is going to your point about support, and I haven't put support here. With Dreamweaver and with Wordpress, is you generally don't get any support, except for what they call forums. So what a forum is there's many people that use Dreamweaver or Wordpress around the world. You're trying to do something, it won't work, so you go to the forum, you register an account, and you put your problem there. You say, I'm trying to X, Y, Z and it won't work, what can I do? And people come along, they read that and they write answers for you. Or you might be able to search the forums and find answers that people have written beforehand. So you might be able to, someone's already solved that problem and you can do that. So with WordPress, that's how you get your support. Sometimes you can ask your host and say, I've got a problem. Some hosts will help, some hosts won't. Some hosts will redirect you to the forum. Some hosts will be really helpful with trying to get your WordPress working. The thing with the host is they generally don't do any of the code side of it. So what they'll do is they'll say, oh, the error you're getting is because this plugin is faulty. Uninstall this plugin. There you go. Okay? I'll uninstall the plugin and great, my computer works, my website works again. The issue that you've got though is I need that plugin. So now you've got to find another plugin that does the same thing that will work on your particular setup. So you can get some little bugs and things that come in like that. Nobody fixes that for you unless you hire a programmer. You can do that. You can hire a programmer and you can ask them to fix this particular problem or to build a plugin for you or to do some other things. So you get support from forums and Google. You Google your issues or you YouTube your issues and see if you can find the solutions there. So again, it's all pros and cons. It's good and it's bad in different ways. If it's right for you, it's a brilliant system and you'll love using it and it'll work really well. Any other questions about WordPress?
Obviously all these you can add a cart and
That's a good issue. Generally, and this is a common thing with WordPress. WordPress, there are limited options with carts directly in WordPress. What most people do if you've got a WordPress website, so you've got, let's say, you've got carpet.com.au, okay, and that's running with WordPress, and that runs your pages and your photos and shows YouTube video, does all that good stuff. But you get a different solution. So you buy some software or you get another company that provides a shopping cart service and you might have something like cart.carpet. And that's where your cart is in a different address. So WordPress does provide some simple cart solutions. I've never found any that I've been particularly happy with. But some companies provide excellent carts. Now you mentioned OzCommerce last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
As one, but you're saying, yeah.
It's the problem there again is support.
Yeah.
You know, we used a freelancer to do one job, which is where we've ended up with the MailChimp hack.
Yeah.
I actually went back to the German team that does most of OzCommerce, paid my €10 and got nothing.
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, that's right. And ultimately, because the support is the most expensive part, it's much more expensive than building the software in the first place.
Yeah, if you can't get it, you're knackered.
That's right, absolutely. And that's where the forums and Google really become your only lifeline with a lot of these things. You go there and simple things will work, you'll find solutions. If it's something you've changed yourself, no one will know the answer because they won't know how you've changed it. So it all
We just used PayPal. It gives you the code that tells you exactly where to put it in and everything is brewing.
Yeah.
Makes it pretty easy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we'll talk about next week. Yeah,
you
you can use PayPal. We'll talk about that next week. PayPal with WordPress, so it does give you JavaScript code that you can stick into your pages and do, and that's great. That works really well. PayPal is good if you don't have too many products. If you're going to sell more than say 5 to 10 products, you'll find it gets a little bit unwieldy to manage because PayPal isn't a shopping cart. They just give you a way of doing it. That works really well, but is a little bit clunky user. But we'll talk about that. When we talk about
I noticed
PayPal.
on the when we were looking at the different websites that one of them had did PayPal and it had all the credit card things underneath it. Does PayPal just pay through PayPal or can you also pay through credit cards?
It does both.
Okay.
If I have a credit card that's never ever been interacted with PayPal in any way, and I want to buy something, I can just put my credit card details in and just buy it, and that's the end of the story. But what PayPal does is a security feature. If I've ever used my credit card before, it knows, of course, because it's got it stored, and I put the credit card in, it says, this is a known credit card, log into your PayPal account. And so you'll need to log into PayPal at that point. But if they don't have a PayPal account or anything, they just use their credit card, and it's PayPal, yeah, does that really well. That can be a little bit of a problem, just in that if it's been a while since you've used your PayPal account and you can't remember your login details, you then need to do a process of recovering your password and doing all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but PayPal is good. It does allow you to have a shopping cart. There are lots of services out there that allow you to have a shopping cart. WordPress has shopping carts. They're just, the ones that I've seen haven't been particularly good. Maybe lately there's been some new ones, I don't know, that have come up. So if you want a quick one that the designer's taken care of for you, you know, it's updated and it's powerful and has lots of free plugins and all that stuff, then WordPress is brilliant. It's really good for that. Alright. Any other questions about WordPress? Remember, have you also got my email address from last week? So if you've got questions, email me and I can give you a more detailed answer to that. Oh yeah, I can give you more detailed. Zone.com.au. So I can answer questions in a more detailed way if you email them to me.
So the database that WordPress gets all its information from sitting on the server as well?
Yes, it's on your server, that's right. So if you use that automatic setup system, it does that for you, or if you do it manually, you install your own database. It's very easy to do, it's just a few steps to do it. But yeah, you have your database and the WordPress system, the WordPress software, together on the same server, and so it talks to the database.
Yeah.
The people looking at your site don't know any of that, they just see pages pop up with information on it. Alright, let's have a look.
Excuse me, Chris, the one you recommended in WordPress.org, because that's the only way we get our domain name without the WordPress name.
No, you can get your domain on the other one. You pay WordPress a small fee, and they allow you to add your domain to that. So if you did that, you wouldn't have this anymore. You'd then have carpet.com.au, and that's quick and easy, and you can do that. You don't get as many features, but that means it doesn't cover your domain register, so you still have to register your domain. Then you pay a small fee to WordPress. So if you want a really cheap website, that is a good way to go. You'll end up being $40 a year for domain and
So what's the difference? So once you pay to get your own name, so what's really the difference of .com and .org? Say if you end up with the same name.
Oh, .org is technically for not-for-profit organisations. So you can make a profit, but if you're like you're talking about helping others. Like if your job is, if you're a charity or a school, or if your primary purpose is not to make a profit, then the .orgs are for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they function the same. It's just that they're intended for people not making a profit, whereas the .coms and the .nets and the other ones are for commercial use if that's what you need. Cool. All right. So the next option, so we've looked at two options, both of them really good, pros and cons. Next one, no different, good and pros and cons, is called Elastic. Okay. Now Elastic this is an example, this is a development site that's running at the moment. The key difference with Elastic is it's a package, okay? It involves every part of the process. With Elastic, the domain is included. Your hosting is included. And Elastic is the software. Now, where Elastic is different from WordPress is WordPress is what's called open source. Okay? And that means that it's produced by one group of people, but then the code that runs it is provided freely so that you can edit it, change it, do what you want. The great thing with that is that it spurs on creativity. It allows people to create all these plugins and all these great features that go with it. The downside, as we've talked about, is it means that people can discover the vulnerabilities of that software and produce malware and do some of the other things. Small chance, but it does happen. Elastic is proprietary software, meaning that it's similar to WordPress in a lot of ways, but no one gets access to it. It's similar to how Apple runs their system. You can't see the code, you can't get into the system. There's no way for an external party to access the Elastic system. So the chance of it being hacked is not zero, but it's very, very low, much, much lower than open source systems that have third-party plugins. In terms of the design, you remember WordPress? What did I say? How does WordPress do a design? What do they call them? Themes, that's right. WordPress has themes. Elastic is themeless. How Elastic works, let me just demonstrate here. Alright, in this particular website, it comes in columns. So this is, see in this border here, this is one column, and that's a second column there. If I just log in to this website, go to layout, down the bottom there, what you'll see is you've got a variety of layout choices about where things go and what position things exist in. Now, I was saying that was column 1 and column 2, and it was 2 areas of the content. So, and the areas of this one, what's called page content, that's the main part of the page, the most important part. And then we've got sidebars. They're like those extra little bits of information that go in different places. On the page we were just looking at a moment ago, if I just go back to it just for a second, you'll see we've got page content here in column 1, and this is sidebar 1 in column 2. I want to rearrange them. I want to change the order of those particular. So what I'm going to do is down here, under we've got page items and position settings there. See how that says column 1? I'm going to change that to column 2, and this one to column 1. Okay. Now the columns, I'll have to just change the widths. Notice that column 1 was really wide and column 2 was really narrow. I want to adjust the width of those columns so they can be a different size. And then that's 275, and that one's 600. And I'll just save that. We'll go back to the main page, and you can see now that the order's rearranged. Remember that was over the other side before? Now it's over this side, this one's here. So everything about the layout is all controlled with drop-downs and settings. Okay, so you can have header images up the top, you can move this over here and that one over there. You can put things basically where you want them and lay them out in any way that you want. And that's why it's themeless, because you don't install a new theme. If you don't like it, you move it. You put it somewhere else, or you get rid of it, or you add something in that's not there. So a bit like Dreamweaver, where you have that blank slate, Elastic is a lot like that. So you've got lots of flexibility. You don't have as much as you do with Dreamweaver, because what is said is these are all set up in a certain way so that when you change that setting, you don't get errors come up or you don't get anything break. It just moves from wherever it was to wherever you've set it.
You can only have it in columns, is that right?
Yes, you can. Oh, you can have it in columns. There are other options.
But you can fill in the columns differently.
Yeah, you can fill in the columns differently. That's right. So see here we've got opening hours there. Let's say I want to add some text underneath there. What I can do is if I click this edit link here at the top, it will take me to the edit page for that particular one there. Alright. Okay. Now this is where that text is, and this is what I was saying before about the database. So this is connected to a database. This field is stored in a database, and what I can do is write some new information. I'll click Save and View, and that is there now. So that's live and that's public. People can see that now. So what you do is you create a new page, you write your content, you hit Save, and now the page is on your website. WordPress does the same thing. It works in a very similar way. Dreamweaver is different. Remember how I said you're limited by, you've got to create each new page separately? That's a static website. Dynamic websites like Elastic and Wordpress, they're database controlled. So as soon as you save it, it's there online. With WordPress and with Elastic, you're not tied to the computer where Dreamweaver is installed. You can be on your phone and you can add content to your page. You can be on holidays and you can write and add content to your page. You can be a worker at home. Any computer that's got the internet on there allows you to add a new page or put photos on there or upload YouTube videos or do anything that you like there. So with Elastic, you can edit all of these menu features. You can rearrange the order. You can change colours. You can add images, add YouTube videos. There is... So that's why there's no themes section, because there is no themes. It's your choice as to where you want everything to go. Now, in terms of plugins, at the moment, there's a range of plugins. There's, how many is there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 different plugins that you can install. These plugins, they're not third-party plugins. They don't come from somebody else. They're built, we build them ourselves in-house, so they're part of the system. So there's no external access that people get. And you can add different things. So we've got photo galleries. You can have a shopping cart. There's the shopping cart built into it that can use credit card or use PayPal. Put Facebook, a few different features in there. And all of the different things that you can edit are down the side here. So it's similar in a way to WordPress. Key difference is that it doesn't have themes, so you have that control, and it's part of a package. So if you want to use Elastic, if that's the right thing for you, you don't have to think separately about all of these things. It's all part of one thing. Your domain comes with it, your hosting's included, the Elastic software is included, the design comes from setting it up and setting up where you want things to go and picking all your colours. So, for example, here, if you don't like the colours, you can just change all the colours, pick the colour that you want and add it in and do that there. The content you add yourself. So just like with WordPress, same thing. You can go to a page, type in your content, hit save. One of the things that Elastic has built into it is, see at the top here where it says metadata? This is the information that Google uses when it's ranking the page. So if I just show you, give me a search, what's something we can search for on Google?
Guitar.
Guitar, did you say? Yeah. Let's see what comes up. Okay, here we go. Alright, so here's our Wikipedia page, this one here. This is called the meta title, or this comes from the meta title. So, see that there, meta title? Whatever you type there is what shows here on Google. This green is the URL that we talked about last week. Now, whatever you put here on the page URL is what will show up in green here. This black is what's called the description. So whatever you type in here is what's going to show up in the black there. So it gives you a lot of control. So if you're trying to rank well on Google and you're doing pest control, say, you might have a page called Pest Control for Perth. In the meta description, you write a little blurb about your business. You put some keywords there, put a web address that matches the page, and then Google knows what your page is about. It just makes it a little bit more streamlined, that information that Google has. And it just gives you lots of flexibility to work with things. In terms of support, you get full support included with Elastic. So at any time you can email questions. Now people, and remember I said last week, this is my system, Elastic. People email me all sorts of questions. I get lots of them every day. So people will say, I'm trying to change this colour, I can't work out how to do it, and I'll send back instructions on how to do it. Or they'll say, look, I want to introduce a new product, I'm trying to write an article, can you give me some ideas? And I help them with like business advice and suggestions and things to do. Sometimes I'll say, I've got a client at the moment, they want to run live audio streaming through their website. And so I'm helping them to work through that process to do that. And that's all included. There's no cost for any of that. The only cost comes, obviously, if we do work for you. If we do work, there's a cost for that. If it's just advice, that's all part of the package, leave email support. You can ring our office and you can ask some basic questions there. Or if they're too complex, then they log a job and we get back to you that day with an email response. And usually straight away, as soon as I get the email, I'll send a response.
So, from what you just said, you can add audio to it.
Mhm.
Can you add animations as well?
Yeah, you can add YouTube videos are really easy. That's built in, so if you have a look here. So see all these different buttons that are here. So you can add links, you can add images, you can add YouTube videos, you can add like Word and Excel documents and PDFs and different things there. So yeah, you can have all sorts of different features on there. You can add the plugins and do different things. The plugins they're not free. There is a cost for the plugins, and that's to cover the development cost and all of those things. And usually it's like a yearly fee. It might be say $5 a year, depending on the plugin. The plugins, the cheapest one is $5 a year. The most expensive one's the shopping cart, and that's $110 a year. So to get your own, I don't know, what did you pay for your Ozcommerce
I don't know.
shopping cart?
My daughter set it up 3 years ago. But there are limitations to it. Let's say you want to do postage to different places. You're limited with what you can do with.
Yeah, yeah. I think Ozcom is actually free. It's a bit like WordPress. It's initially provided free, and then you pay. You either use it as it is, or you pay programmers to adjust it to do that.
We use Freelancer. Or we have done in the past.
Yeah. So if you don't know, freelance is like a service where people who are programmers or graphic designers or a range of people, it's a bit like eBay for services. You put a job on there, and then they bid for the jobs, and then you pick the one that you want, and they do the work for you. So with Elastic, like I said, full support. There's no software issues. If there's ever a bug or any problems, it just gets taken care of. Just let us know that it's happening, and then it gets fixed. So there's nothing to think about there. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So so look, think about WordPress, think about Dreamweaver, think about Elastic, look at the costs, think about how much of it you want to do yourself, how much of it you want help with, and just weigh all those different options up and make the decision. The cost for this, just so you know, it's $5.67 a week. Okay, so that's the cost for everything up to that point there. So you get your domain, your hosting, the Elastic software, you get obviously the option to change things, you get the support, and then you start adding your own content and information to it from there.
So Chris, the phone support will just be working hours, isn't it? Not
Yeah, working hours, yeah, that's right.
And with, I read some of the websites, they say to have a separate domain and hosting in case you want to change your domain. I wasn't sure how finicky it is if it's from the same person you need to change. I think some people recommend separate companies for domain and hosting. Others say it doesn't matter.
Yeah, look, the short answer, it doesn't matter, but the logic of that is if you hire a company that goes broke and they've got both, you lose both, essentially, in a way. Especially if they stop answering their emails and responding to their phone calls and